Hey, good morning everyone. Today we are going to use your textbook and then we are going to learn some writing skills. And so before anything, so just wish everybody like a happy St. Patrick's Day. So, alright. Okay, so let's just go through today's lesson objective. So first thing we're gonna brainstorm some ideas about our writing, and then we're trying to figure out the text type, the text. So the audience, the purpose and tone, and then I'll just go through more about it later. So please turn to your textbook page 21. That is this page, the one that with 6 panel of comics. So page 21. Alright, so let's just go through these 4 things. So brainstorming, just pretty much easy. So just some idea for your piece of writing. And audience, that's John. So it's people who read your story. Goal, that means the purpose of your writing. Purpose is the goal of your writing. And lastly, tone, that's an attitude toward the audience. Alright? Okay, let's just get to the first point. So brainstorming. Alright, so before we brainstorm some ideas, look at your textbook, page 21. So can you see how many animals are there? How many of them? 4, you have a giraffe, and then you have 2 zebras. And lastly, you see that animal, the orange one, appeared in panel 4 and panel 5. What do you think that is? Cougar maybe? Okay, I have to really look into the dialogue to figure out what that is. If you can see it from the dialogue here on panel 2, 2 zebras that run, there's lioness nearby. You're probably wondering okay, lioness, what is a lioness? Okay, what is a lioness? Just give you some time to think about it. Do you get any ideas? Well, even if you don't know the word, you probably figure the word lion here. And then you figure out that's probably somewhere refer to a lion, isn't it? Well, that's a good guess. So, and actually it is. And then lioness, it's a female lion. That's it. So that's why you see that lion that does not quite look like the general lion that you see in the clip art. Okay, lioness doesn't have mane, so, and then this is a picture of lioness from the Lion King. Okay, she's a lioness, and just for the record, just showing you some of the pictures. This is a lioness, that means a female lion, and this is a male lion with this mane here. Okay, just sign up. All right. Okay, let's just go. Okay, now you figure out all the characters, mean all the animals in the in this piece of writing. And now let's just get some ideas. So purpose. So remember from last week's tutorial, when we talk about different animals, we talk about which continents do they belong to. And now we are going to ask you a question. So you got zebra, you got giraffe, and you got lioness. So it's do you remember which continent are they supposed to come from? That's a lesson from Mr. C from last week. Well, is it in America, Europe, Asia, Australia, or Africa? I'll just give you a few seconds to think about it. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so that is this continent, and this continent is Africa. So make sure that in your writing, when you bring some ideas, you don't just want to say that it's just some random jungle, but make sure you incorporate some vocabulary knowledge that you have learned from your previous lesson. So make sure that you say that okay, it's in Africa. That's some kind of like ideas that you can deduce, or you can get it like from the comic itself. All right. Okay. Here are some like brainstorming questions that like you can think about. So how about this one? So what do you think the lions feel when it finds the giraffe? So you see that like in panel number 5, like on the left bottom corner, you see that like you see the lions like found that giraffe. What's that giraffe doing? Do you think that the giraffe is hiding? Or like oh sorry, I'm sorry, this one. Like what does the lioness feel like when it finds a giraffe? Like what do you think the lioness feel? Like looks scared maybe? Or it look relieved from some? Or like anything that like just marks out some of the ideas that you have. Say that like just some of the ideas that you have. And then like or like what else? So some of the feelings that you can lioness feel. So and what about this one? The second question right here. What is the giraffe doing when the lioness finds it? Like panel number 5. So yeah. Do you think that like the giraffe is hiding? Or do you think that the giraffe is like reaching out to the lion when the lion said like, okay, someone please help me? What do you think? Well, okay. And lastly, how about this one? And how do the zebras feel? Oh, sorry, like let me ask you. Like the zebras feel like when the lioness is approaching. So like in panel number 2, so it's like run! Exclamation mark! There is a lioness nearby! Exclamation mark! So what do you think the zebras like? How do they feel? Do you think that like they're scared? Or they're frightened, or what else? Okay, here are some like brainstorming questions that you can think about like when you like do the actual writing, and then like with all these things like in mind, and then like you get some like ideas like how the like and like the next like panel like supposed to be. So all right, and then like for the moment we just like go to this one. Okay. And then like now, like please turn over to page 22 of your textbook. Okay, now we'll just figure out like this text, like the purpose, audience, and tone. And these 3 things will determine how you are going to write your story. Alright, so audience, 聽眾讀者. So that means that like people who will read your story. So okay, let's remember like if you read like the prompt right here on top. So it's not like the English. Okay, English Club is holding an annual story writing competition, and you want to enter the competition. And that means like say that if this is like a competition, so the audience like would automatically would be the judge, isn't it? So like and then like that would be the judge, like be the one that will read your like piece. But okay, that's like a given. What else? What else like do you think that like they would like who else would read your piece? I'll give you some time. Okay. So like if you read like your page like 22, it says like it even give you like okay, apart from the judges of the competition, like who is going to read your story? Like I mean like who else is like going to read your story? Like you kind of like need to think about like who your audience is supposed to be. Well, how about your teachers? Your teachers may want to read your story. Or your parents, like parents are always interested in their children's study. And what about your friends, classmates, and public? Or say that like you have a blog and you want to like post a story like onto your blog and just let everyone read it. So now like yeah, you come up with the idea like who your audience is supposed to be, and then you will get some idea like how do you want to approach to your audience. Alright, now like we go to the second thing, like in the tone. So the purpose. So that means the goal of your writing. And then like you see the chart like on page 22. So is it like to entertain, to inform, to complain? Which one is it? So let's just go through it. Like question. So entertain, is this written for fun? Well, it's a writing competition, and then like you want to participate. That means that you are not mandatory like to participate. That means that you likely, very likely written this for fun. Okay, what about this one? Like does this story tells you some facts? Like I don't think so. Like we say to inform, and then like does it like tell you some solid ideas? No, not really, because this is a story. It's a work of fiction. So no. So what about complaint? Does this story contain any complaints? So like complain about like the lion eat me? Like no, actually. So that means that like this one, it's like a to entertain. So please like mark it on your page. That is like here to entertain on page 22. All right. So now we got the idea like your audience and then like your purpose, and now we switch the tone, and that would like help you how to brainstorm more of your ideas. So tone means that like an attitude towards the audience. Okay. So just like quickly look at like panel 1, 4, 5 on like page 21 of your textbook, and match the following tones to the correct panels. Write the correct letters next to the panel. So, okay, A, suspenseful. E. So, okay, 懸疑、認真、開心、suspenseful, serious, cheerful. What do you think? I'll give you a few seconds. Alright, so I'll just like give you the answer. So like suspenseful, like unique. So it will be like number 1, and then like seriousness would be like panel 4, and lastly cheerful. Alright, so I'll just like give you more idea how do you like bring someone. If this one is like a little bit more like difficult, how about just think about this one? Is it supposed to be casual or is it supposed to be formal? Casual 會輕鬆 ，formal 係官式官方係。Okay, I give you like 3 seconds to think about it. Okay. Anyone who think that like it's supposed to be casual or formal? Well, the answer is either. So it depends on the mood that you want to create. Like say that like some of the you want to make your like story be like effective. 反省 cheerful, 開心 or treacherous 背叛. So it depends on the mood that you want to make like how your piece of writing is supposed to be. And I'll explain 2 of them here, like just to explain like how does it work. Okay, question. Do you think the lioness actually need help? So say that like panel number 4, is it like someone please help me? Do you think the lioness actually need help? If you say yes, okay, and then like maybe I give you some ideas like okay, you think the story is supposed to be the giraffe help the lioness and teaches everyone the story. Do not judge a book by its cover. That means that like okay, that means that just help everybody, and that would be fall into the category the mood for like reflective. And say that if you don't think so, like say no. And then like maybe the lioness just pretend that like she's in pain, then she eats a giraffe. How about this one? And then like that will fall into the category for like treacherous. I'll just write down the Chinese translation here in case you didn't. So here, like now I usually think about like what kind of tone that like do you want to keep like in your writing, and then make sure that you incorporate like the entire idea when you brainstorm some idea. What are some of the major questions that you can think of in this writing? Okay, and lastly, so like our time talking, if you brainstorming this piece is just too short, and then let's go old single Salantova, and that's just like the gated word for good health, and I think we don't need it. That's it for today. Thank you.
Okay, hello, Form 2 student. Okay, I know some of you are already online and talking about things that not related to our textbook. So please get ready for a textbook, okay? And after Mr. Wong talks about the pictures and also the purpose and tunes, so now we are going to talk about the structure of a short story. Okay, how do you write the bones of the short story? Okay. So this picture, this diagram should be very popular and be very should be very familiarized with, okay? Because once you are writing a short story, all this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts must be included, okay? So I will talk about each part respectively, okay? So let's look at the first one, exposition. This word is more difficult or more liberal to you, okay? But actually it means beginning, okay? So at the very beginning of your story, you should talk about the characters, okay? The roles, the people, the animals, and like the giraffe or the lion or the horse, okay? And then you're talking about the setting. So what is the setting? Setting can be the date, the climate, the place, and whatever you want to talk about. Okay, so I would like to use an example. I've been thinking about which one is a good example. Maybe I was thinking about Cinderella, but it's too girly. And then for 2020, maybe we should use superhero. Okay, so I chose Spider-Man. So what is the exposition of Spider-Man? It should be the thing that this boy, Peter, found that he can become a Spider-Man. Okay, so this is the beginning of the story. And then, rising action. So rising action is very important in your short story. The key words is the conflict. Conflict means something you want, if you want something, you cannot get it. Or people want something from you and you don't want to give it to them. Okay, so where the main character face a lot of conflicts or problems. Okay, 面對啲問題啦。So this is the part you have to build up your story. So if we use Spider-Man as the example, it should be Peter starts to realize that he has the superpower, and those enemies become to appear to him. Okay, but I think this one's not very good picture. Okay, if you have watched the film, it might be better. Okay? And then climax, which is the most important part. Okay, climax, the most exciting part of the story. So if we use Spider-Man as an example, it's very easy. So the fighting scenes. Okay. Peter fights with, I don't know who this is. So Spider-Man fights with those bad guys. Okay, so this is the climax. Every story should have a climax, which is the most exciting and most important part of your story. Okay, and then after all these rising and then to the climax, and then it should be the falling part. So how to make the story back to where it begins. Okay, so this is, so if you have a problem and the problem becomes a conflict and becomes a fight, and then it goes down by giving solutions. Okay, 俾個解決嘅方法. So events lead to the end of the story. Usually we use solutions. 我哋用一個解決方法 to solve the climax. So maybe here it should be Spider-Man versus, I don't know who this is, okay, whatever. So usually the superhero wins, right? So this is the falling part. And then what is the ending? What is the next part? Resolution, ending, okay? So usually if we use Spider-Man as an example, in the films, in the movie, Spider-Man always flies through the buildings and he is still helping others, okay? So remember, when you write your short story, there must be exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Okay, the 5 parts. Please write these words on your notebook. Okay, draw this picture on your notebook. I give you 30 seconds. Okay, Michael, write down. 包肉冇, write down on your notebook. No, he doesn't. You have to listen. 包肉冇. Okay, write down your notes. Okay? Okay, I will also upload this one on your Google Classroom. Okay, and now if you have finished, let's go back to our textbook. Let's go to page 23, okay? Let's go to page 23, okay, 23頁. So, after talking about the structure, text time, so we will finish this one first, okay? Direct, first person, problem setting solved title. Okay, so let's look at this one, direct, 直接, okay? Write down the Chinese meaning, 直接. And then first person, I think most of you know the meaning, okay? First person. And then problem, 問題啊. So we also use another word called conflict. Okay, write down this word as well, conflict. Okay? And then setting. Setting. It talks about maybe time, date, location, okay, anything related to the beginning, okay, and then solved. What is solved? Solution, okay, how to solve the problem, okay, and then title. So let's look at the answer now. Now, okay, let's write down all these words, okay, and then let's look at the answer now. So this one, very obvious. The ghost bear. So this one is the title of the story, right? And then the first paragraph, opening, describe and set the mood. Okay, at the very beginning, we have to talk about the setting, right? We have to talk about the setting. And then let's look at the first sentence. I heard, sorry, not here. Let's look at the body paragraph, okay, the body paragraph. Introduce so remember the rising action, the climax. So we talk about the problem, okay, the problem, or your conflict. 面對嘅衝突同埋你嘅問題, okay? And then ending. So when we want to end the story, we go falling action and also the solution, okay? How your character solves the problem, 解決咗個問題, okay? And then, so for the language part, if we read the story, we use I. See, I heard some noises. I was a young bear cub. My mother. So we all use first person, okay? First person point of view. When we use the first person point of view, it is very easy to bring your audience into the story, okay? If you use third person, you will be like, when you read, you are still an outsider. But if you are using the first person narration, you bring the audience into your story, okay? So if we are writing a story, direct speech is a must, okay? Dialogue is a must. So there are also other language features that is very important for writing a short story. So I will pass this part to Mr. C and also Ms. Chow, okay? So take out your notes. Remember to take notes, okay?
So for me, I'm going to teach about how to use the tenses in the writing, okay? So mainly for our writing a story, we use simple past tense in our story, okay? So basically, we divide the storyline into, or timeline into 3 different parts. The past, the present, and the future, okay? So when we are talking about the story, we are going to say something happened before, okay? So we simply just record what happened and then report and then write it down and then it's become the story. Okay, so a story is something like that you experienced before or you happen, some the things happened before, so we use simple past tense, remember, okay? So for example, let's go through the past tense before, okay? When we teach about past tense, so yesterday we was to the park, okay? So do you know what is the answer? I give you 3 seconds, okay? So yesterday we go to the park, we went to the park, okay? Go change to went, okay? So for the next one, last Sunday Ben watched a film, so we need to change watch to watch. We need to add what after watch. We need to add ed, so it changed to watched, okay? Ben watched a film last Sunday, okay? So simply we use simple past tense. What is the form of simple past tense? Is just adding most of the word after adding the ed, okay? Just like the next. We add ed, wait, we add ed at the last, okay? So besides adding ed, for some word with e at the ending, so we add d, just add d after the word, okay? So you see arrive, change to arrive, bake, change to bake, okay? Something like that. So, do you remember what we need to add when the word is end with y? So, anyone can answer me? Okay, so for the word end with y, we need to change y into I, and then we need to pass what? The most important thing for past tense is what? Ed. Okay, so change y and then into I and plus ed. Just like cry, we change y into cry, I-E-D, okay? So if some word is after the ending with a vowel and a consonant, we need to double the consonant. Okay, so if you finish your phonics exercise in the Google Classroom, you should beware with your consonant. Okay, so we need to double the consonant and then we press ed when the last two word is a, e, I, o, u. Okay, so for example, stop, we need to add one more p and then we add ed at the last, okay? So stop, change to stop, double p, okay? So please remember, okay? And then so besides adding ed, you know that some word we need to change the whole form or we remain unchanged the word, okay? So this we call irregular past verb, okay? So if you have the textbook, please turn to page 810, okay? You can see a irregular verb table right here, okay? So first of all, some irregular verb may not change for the verb. Okay, so you see cut, and then we use the cut as the same in past tense. Okay, so and then some may need to change the vowel sound, vowel letters into different vowel letters. For example, drank we change to drank, I change to a. Okay, gave is the past tense of give. Okay, win and won, something like that. So if you did not remember how this will change, please turn to or go through your textbook page 810. Okay. So can you list out some or give you some example about the word we need to change as the whole form? Simply just one word is very easy for you. Be, okay? B-E-E. But I will go through later, okay? So so for changing the whole word, eat we change to ate, okay? Go we change to went, something like that. So for the verb to be, how can we change the verb to be, okay? So for the verb to be, we change be to was and were. So for is and am, we change to was, okay? You can see was have a and s, okay? So it included is and am, okay? These two words, a and s is, okay? So is may help you to remember this word, okay? After that, the word is the past tense of are. You can see re at the end, at both verbs, okay? So for the positive statement, this is simply just how we write the past tense sentence, okay? So I went to the library, or she had a dinner, okay? So this is not, we know in the present tense we add s or es according to he, she, it, or are you, we, they, okay? So there is no difference between this subject or this pronoun using the past tense form of the verb, okay? So later on, we use was and were for the positive statement. If we say I am happy, you change I was happy, okay? So you were happy, okay? So if you write this sentence, okay, so please remember when we need to use was and when we need to use were, okay? So for the question type, we need to put was or were in front at the beginning of the question, okay? So, but simply we writing a story, we are not often to use past tense question type in the writing a story, okay? So for the negative statement, we have two different types. One is was not, were not, okay? So maybe if someone asks, were you in the party, or were you at the party, you just simply answer, oh, no, I was not in the party, or I wasn't in the party, okay? So moreover, you can say, if you can say, I did not cry, or you did not run, okay? So when you did not or didn't, the main verb we doesn't need to change. We remain the base form for the main verb, okay? So if we did not or didn't, so the verb we don't need to change, okay? Just remain the base form of the verb. Just like the cry, we didn't need to eat, IED at the end, okay? So it is important, just please be remembered, okay? And then, so here's our quick review for about how to write the positive statement and the negative statement about your story, okay? So simply just remember how the form changed for the past tense, okay? Irregular verb or most of the verb with plus ed, ied, or double the consonant verb, okay? At the end, okay? So was were is also the important thing for you to remember. When we use was, when we use were, okay? So for the negative statement, we need to add did not or didn't before the base form of the verb, okay? Just like we didn't talk, we don't swim, we didn't swim, something like that, okay? So for the verb to be, it also have the negative form, is wasn't or was, okay? So After talking about the form of the past tense, we need to know how to indicate or when do we write this sentence in the past. Okay, you may simply write yesterday, last night, last year, something like that to indicate the event was happening in the past. Okay, or 3 months ago, etc. Blah blah blah. So I give you some more example for you to use in your story writing. Okay, so if a long time ago a story happened a past hundreds of years ago, you can say in the past or once upon a time, something like that. Okay, so when you see this little red story or you heard this little red story, okay, it's happened in the past and you can't chase back time when it happened. Okay, so you just simply write once upon a time, blah 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 blah, etc. So it's also something you may write in your very beginning, at the first paragraph, you can indicate the time, what is the time you happen, and you want to explain your ideas. Okay, so this PowerPoint I will upload it to the Google Classroom, so please check later for your brainstorming your ideas for your story writing. Okay, so I will pass the time to Chuck to talk about the direct speech.
Direct speech is a must to use in a story. In this session, you are going to learn the rules for writing direct speech and the correct punctuation to use in the direct speech and the verbs to report direct speech. Take a look. This is a direct speech. Okay, you can't catch me. We use direct speech to quote what the character say in a story. This is a direct speech. Okay, you can catch me. The exact words the character say. This is the character. The character, yeah, the gingerbread man. Why do we use direct speech? Because it can make a story more lively, 生動、有趣、有現場感。Let's look at the structure. This is a direct speech. And this one is the reporting clause. And this set is the reporting verb. In a direct speech, we'll use punctuations. Okay? The quotation marks. And also, we'll use a comma. This is the comma. Oh. This is the comma. We'll use a comma before the direct speech. The reporting clause can be put before the direct speech. This is the direct speech. Okay? Or after Okay, the reporting clause can be put before the direct speech or after. In this case, this is, okay, we put the reporting clause before the direct speech. If you write the direct speech in this way, then we have to add a comma after the reporting clause. Okay. And then we write the direct speech, the exact words inside the open quotation mark and close quotation mark. Remember, in the direct speech, the first letter is a capital letter. For statements, we'll use full stop at the end of the direct speech before the close quotation mark. If the reporting clause is about a question, okay? If it is before a question or exclamation, we will write it like this, okay? It's similar to writing the statement. The first one, reporting clause, and then similar to the statement. We use comma after the reporting clause, and then the direct speech, we write it inside the close quotation mark and the open quotation mark and the close quotation mark. Okay, the first word should be a capital letter. Okay, similar to the one before. But what is the difference between them? Okay, can you see? 3 seconds. The punctuation here. We write a question mark before the close quotation mark if it is a question. We write an exclamation mark if it is an exclamation. We do not use full stop here. The reporting clause can be put after the direct speech. They mean the same. If it is after the direct speech, here the reporting clause. We write the dialogue. We write the dialogue inside the quotation marks. The first letter is a capital letter, the same. Okay, but pay attention to this one. What is the difference here? We do not use full stop. We use a comma at the end of the reporter speech. And remember, if the reporting clause is at the end, we use more letter. We use more letter. But remember, if the character is Peter, Tom, Mary, the proper nouns, we cannot use more letter. We should use capital letter, okay, capital letter too. How about questions? If the reporting clause is after a question, okay, everything is almost the same, but the difference is here. Okay, we use the question mark here for a question, and we use an exclamation mark here for an exclamation at the end of the direct speech. Don't use comma. Also, at the end of the reporting clause, we use full stop. We do not use comma at the end, of the direct speech. Also, the same. here we use more letter instead of capital letter. Okay, except it is a proper noun. Tom, Mary, Tom, Carl, okay, things like that. When we use the direct speech, and if we put the reporting clause after the direct speech, remember, okay, we can write it in different ways, but they mean the same. This one. Okay, do you still remember? For statement, we use comma here, but this one, my cub is so hungry, the tiger said. And this one, my cub is so hungry, said the tiger. They are the same. You can use either one. And for a question, said, you can, okay, change the order and they mean the same. For example, this one, what's going on? The boy asked. And you can also say, you can also write, asked the boy. Exactly the same. You can write in, okay, both of the ways. They are okay, they are the same. And also in the direct speech, we'll use reporting first. There are many reporting first to use. And we use that to express the character's feeling. How does he or she feel at that time? For example, okay, these are the reporting first. For example, the boy said, I like my mobile phone. Said. Okay, this one, sighed, means 嘆息, he's gone. Sighed, the old man. And this one, run, a lion is coming. Shouted. Okay, we use it to express your feeling. Urgent, shouted. Okay, run. And also this one, warned. Don't move. Warned. In Chinese, warned means, okay, we use it to show your mood. And for a question, yeah, it's very common to use this reporting verb, asked. And if you answer, then you can use replied. So reporting verbs, there are many reporting verbs. So you can choose the reporting verbs you like, depends on your mood. Depends on the mood of the character. Okay, this is the end of the writing lesson. Thank you for watching.